welcome to Sew Pretty Kitty. This is my vlog where I talk about all the things I love about sewing. Today's video is about the Cricut machine. If you've heard of a Cricut machine, they are the most awesome cutting machines, and I'm not trying to sell you one here, but I did have a few requests of people to say, how can you use a Cricut machine to help you in the sewing room? So I've come up with 5 ideas for you, so stick around if that's what you're interested in. So number 1. Applique. Applique is the process of applying fabric to another fabric and then sewing around. You can either use freehand machine embroidery, or you can use a zigzag stitch or a running stitch, or you can hand applique. And applique you use like a gluey paper, and one side of this, the glue side, you bond to your fabric, and the other side there's a paper which you peel off and then apply to your fabric. Now, I don't mind saying I was dubious that this machine would be able to cut fabric as well as I can cut fabric with a pair of scissors. And yeah, I should have known better, because it is phenomenal. It's much better than me. Not necessarily quicker, because you have to think about the aspects of design and all that kind of thing, but it's so accurate. And that's down to the fact that my maker machine, so there's other brands of Cricut, but I've got a maker, has a rotary blade. So if I hold this up, you can see it's got a tiny rotary blade, and the mechanism allows that blade to just whiz around and cut the fabric really accurately. So I've used it in the past to cut out really intricate fonts, pictures, all sorts. So applique is number 1. Number 2. Heat transfer vinyl, otherwise known as HTV. So this stuff is a plasticky vinyl fabric or material that you cut out and then apply using heat. So very much like applique, but you can get all sorts of amazing sorts of vinyls out there on the market. I will show you examples of heat transfer vinyl. I'm actually wearing one right now. So this is heat transfer vinyl. I used the machine to cut it out, and had I made this t-shirt, which I didn't, I have to admit, but I can make t-shirts, I just didn't make this one. Yeah, that would have helped me in my sewing room to really design and make something very personal and individual. I've also made zipper pouches using heat transfer vinyl and applied little motifs to them. So there's a couple here made from denim, and I've also made pouches for makeup and nail stuff. So yeah, you can see hand sewing all of this, or machine sewing all of this, and then adding your own little personal touch to it by putting on some heat transfer vinyl is an awesome way that the Cricut machine can help you in your sewing room. 3. Sewing projects. The Cricut machine actually can draw a seam allowance on a variety of different projects that you can find in Design Space. So Design Space is the sort of computer side of things. You can go on there, you can create your design using all sorts of elements, and you can use your maker to make that project and cut it out for you and draw on the seam allowances. I have got a water-soluble Cricut pen, which is like a water-soluble marker that I would use in ordinary sewing. And I've yet to test it out yet, but there are some pouches, makeup pouches, key fobs, all sorts of things I've seen on there. And if you're starting out sewing and you're not too accurate with your seam allowances, you could use the machine to cut all the pieces out and draw the seam allowances on for you. And then all you've got to do is put it underneath the foot of your sewing machine and sew. So that's another way that the Cricut machine can help you. Number 4, it can draw. Now, you might be wondering why that's useful to you if you sew stuff, but this machine can draw amazing pictures, and then you can use your needle and thread and embroider those pictures. So you never need another embroidery kit ever again. If you don't want to buy one, you can draw your own. You could design your own and get it to draw it onto calico or any sort of medium, really, any fabric medium. And I've got an example of one I've done here. So this is a cactus. You can see that that's been drawn on really, really accurately, and then I am in the process at the moment of just embroidering that in. So that's something that occurred to me, and I thought, hang on a sec, You can make embroidery kits with this machine. How awesome. And number 5, and this is kind of a little bit of a stretch, but it does help you in your sewing room. Now, permanent vinyl you can apply to anything. So if you're looking to organise your sewing room or your craft room, you can use permanent vinyl and get the maker machine, or the if you've got an Air or an Air 2, to cut out all sorts of things really to personalise your organisation. So I have used it to make myself a little box to house all my feet and sewing machine needles. And equally, every time I get a tin or a jar or anything and I want to know what's inside without having to look, you can pop some permanent vinyl onto anything and it will tell you what's inside. So organisation of your sewing room is the 5th way that the maker can help you with your sewing. So I hope you've enjoyed that whistle stop tour. Obviously it's not a how-to. There are loads of really good YouTube channels out there that will talk you through the process of using your Cricut machine. But I just thought I would visit this in terms of how a Cricut machine will help sewists like me. So if you are wondering if you need one of these in your life, I think the answer is probably yes, if you can afford one. If not, save up and get one, because they are amazing and I love mine, and I'm so grateful that my husband bought me one. That's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like my video, please click that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye.